Welcome to the Podcasting Dead. I'm Justin.
And I'm JP.
And we're going a little off the normal Walking Dead path today. We do things that aren't Walking Dead related, but today we're kind of
we're
diving.
Really branching out.
Yeah, we're really. You were just such. It was. All right, we're talking about the new Avengers. Avengers #1. It just came out.
Or according to legacy numbering, 691.
691.
They're double numbering, which is really cool, and they've done it in the past with reboots. But yeah, it's #1 of this new volume. But if you're going all the way to the original numbering, it's 691. So I think that's really cool.
That is really cool. Help you keep track of where you're at. 'Cause sometimes when you're sorting through your collection, and if you don't pay attention and you're trying to keep them in order when they do these kind of reboots and renumberings, it can be a pain in the ass sometimes.
Yeah, that's one thing with Marvel. You know, I mean, the chronology, you know, they pretty much keep the continuity, which is cool. I mean, yeah, it gets tweaked a little bit because, I mean, otherwise Peter Parker would be like 60 years old or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's one thing. The numbering and the volumes can be a little tricky.
Yeah. But before we begin, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. We review different comics. We've also been doing, like, of course, the Walking Dead comics, but we're doing Oblivion Song and Gideon Falls.
And you got it right that time.
I did. I always say Oblivion Falls for some reason. And we want to start doing like a Batcast. So we're trying to branch out into different comics as well. So anything Walking Dead / comic related, make sure to hit that subscribe like button and come back and join the discussion. Also, before we begin, I want to say that we are not experts on comics, and we're comic fans, not comic experts. So if there's something we say that's wrong or something you want to educate us on, please do so in somewhat of a kind manner. You don't even have to be all that nice, but, you know, just don't be a jerk. Which you still will anyways if you want to be, but I'm just saying, you know, we don't claim to be experts. So,
and a lot of times we're reviewing this like almost right after we read it.
Right.
I mean, that's not quite the case with this, but I was reading a comment from our Walking Dead review from yesterday, and we were thinking that Mercer was still at the Commonwealth, and someone commented that he was actually in the tent with the governor.
Right.
So I was like, huh. I mean,
that's why I was saying I would imagine she'd want to take her toughest guy with her out on this dangerous road against these new people. But it's just like you said, we just read it.
We had literally just read it. Did you see that comment? Someone was like, "How do you put these up so quick?"
Yep, and it's like, luckily we've got a nice lady next door. We have a comic book shop next door to the studio we work in. So at like 8 o'clock in the morning, we can just walk over there. She'll open up, let us grab our comics, and we'll read them real quick and jump on here and do a review.
It is a beautiful thing.
Beautiful.
Sadly, may not be that way for much longer, but
we'll see what the future holds. But so, yeah, make sure to subscribe, like, and join the discussion below. The comment section's our favorite part for the most part, other than, like, you know, the really hateful people.
Well, yeah.
But let's talk about this Avengers. And you're like you said, it's 691. I'm going to just keep referring to it as Avengers 1 just because it's kind of a new chapter. But how does it feel to have the old band back together?
Oh, man, it just everything from the creative team to the lineup. I mean, Jason Aaron, like I said, man, if you're going to take a chance on a writer, he is the guy. I've been following his work on Thor. I read his run on Ghost Rider. Wolverine, he was awesome on that. Just he knocks it out of the park 9 times out of 10.
What's crazy is I was trying to trim the fat off of my pull list.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've really dropped a lot of different titles, and I've really been reading a lot more Image than anything else. Image and DC more so than Marvel. I had dropped Captain America and dropped Daredevil. I had dropped a few, and you dropped a couple, but I just pretty much dropped a big bulk of mine. And with this kind of with everything from the hunt for Wolverine and the Infinity, the Countdown to Infinity.
Yeah,
and then,
I've been digging that.
So I've kind of jumped back on the Marvel train, and then you were JP was texting me and was like, you've got to pick up the new Avengers. It's awesome. And I'm like, no, I'm trying to. And you're like, dude, and one of your selling points was, man, it's by Jason Aaron. You've got anything he writes, you got to give it a shot. So you're a big fan of his, it seems.
Yeah. And fresh off the heels of the Avengers movie. I mean, you know,
right.
I still got that Avengers fever, baby.
Oh, man, what a good movie, too.
Yeah, but I mean, check this first splash page, man. How more epic does it get? You got the 1 million BC Avengers. You got Odin with that you know, goblet of or whatever kind of thing he's holding with the mead in it. You got freaking, you know, Agamotto, Ghost Rider with the what is Ghost Rider riding now? It's like a woolly mammoth monster thing.
Yeah,
it's
they didn't have motorcycles back then, so we had to.
And freaking Odin's turning out the Phoenix, the million BC Phoenix, man. Just Yeah, it's a wild lineup, man. And we haven't seen the 1 million BC Avengers since that the Legacy one shot. Yeah. So yeah,
which really, I thought was a really cool twist to kind of see how this is. And they were fighting the Celestials is what they were up against then, and Odin's just like, dude, we don't have a chance of winning. So, and obviously, before we go any further, I'm going to say this at the beginning: spoilers, which I don't know why you would listen to this if you haven't read the comic, but so yeah, we are going to spoil it. So if you haven't read the comic thus far, just know that it's good. You should add it to your list, and spoilers from here on out. But yeah, Odin's just like, dude, we can't beat them. Like, I'm just going to drink and make love to the Phoenix through eternity in the afterlife.
Yeah, the Celestials are nothing to,
That's what Star-Lord's dad was, right? In the movie, didn't they say he was a Celestial? Isn't that what they used?
He was like one of the elders of the universe. I don't know if he was necessarily a Celestial, but I mean, they like predate the universe as we know it.
Yeah.
So they're like the last surviving members of what came before. And in the Legacy one shot, if I'm remembering correctly, and they allude to it in this, they kill kind of like a dying Celestial. They take it down, it's weakened or whatever.
Right. Well, and they say in the beginning that they killed one, and that's I kind of got the sense that that's why the Celestials were coming.
Yeah.
Because they had killed one, but they said, it was in self-defense. We did what we had to do, and Odin's just like, look, we beat that one because he was kind of weak, whatever. We're not going to take these.
No, they got a whole gang of them. Well, they got at least 5 you can see coming down from the heavens.
Yeah, and Odin's just being the realist here, like, dude, we can't beat them.
No.
But it is cool to see it. And then you go, then we move past that, which you see what, the old Sorcerer Supreme, you see the ancient Black Panther.
Yeah, Iron Fist.
Yeah. It's really cool to see kind of the ancient versions of these heroes.
It's pretty cool. You got these ancient, humanoids fighting over Odin's brew there. Kind of reminds me of another great thing Jason Aaron did was it was set back like Cain is wandering the earth. What's the name of it? The Goddamned. Man, that was a good
That's
series.
What it's called?
Yeah, it's called The Goddamned. It was a really good set back in the old BC days.
Back in the good old days.
Yeah. Well, good for some people, definitely.
Bad for others.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then you move forward into this after they basically just like not ride into the sunset, but just like straight into battle, and then we come to modern day, and it's so. I told you earlier off mic, it's so cool because it's like, Cap is the one that's like, let's get the old band back together, guys. Anything, and Iron Man's just the one that's like, dude, I'm not having it.
Yeah, he's not feeling it.
Man, he just came out of a coma. Give him a little time to breathe.
Maybe it's because he's the only one without a real cocktail. The Thor and Steve, they're having beers. He's got his Shirley Temple, but you got to respect the fight against the alcoholism.
It's one of his defining things as far as the coming from the demon in a bottle story. I mean, they even referenced, I think, his alcoholism back in Civil War II. He and Captain Marvel meet before that final showdown, and they're talking about that. So they still, I think, try to incorporate that into his character quite a bit.
Yeah, he's had a couple relapses, but relapse is part of recovery, from what I understand.
That's what they say. But it's just so funny as fate would have it, as they're meeting about. And Thor is talking about the glory days and just being the Thor we know and love. And, of course, some Celestials decide to come down and force them to get back together.
Yeah. Thor, he's just ready to get his hands dirty again, man. He's got his sweet-ass golden arm. He's got, a whole gauntlet of hammers.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, none of them are as powerful as
Mjolnir.
Yeah, that's the one. I never even try to say it because I butcher it every single time.
Yeah, I think I'm more like what's her face in the Dark World, where she's like meow meow. Sorry, I can't ever say it right.
Close enough.
We need to get him Stormbringer from the movie.
Yeah, that would do the trick. In the comic world, I guess Beta Ray Bill's still holding on to that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's cool to see they're all knocking them back, and then we go to Black Panther and Doctor Strange just exploring the depths of the earth. Black Panther's found something. Needs Doctor Strange's advice needs his expertise.
He's a curious cat.
Yeah.
He finds a hole and he's just going.
Yeah.
I like how Doctor Strange says basically if it wasn't for his magic, they would be crushed at this point.
Yeah. Which I guess some element in Black Panther's suit, he's, able to, I guess maybe the vibranium or whatever.
Such a badass.
Yeah. Tony Stark ain't the only one with a sweet-ass suit, that's for sure.
No, I love Black Panther's suit, and That's what I was thinking, but going back to the movie, I won't harp on the movie too long, but when Cap got his new shields, I thought, but it's not as good as his others. But then I'm like, well, no, but it did come from Wakanda, so it's probably got vibranium in it, so it's probably strong as hell.
It's definitely a pretty dope shield, but I mean, it's not the,
like the traditional Cap shield.
He can't throw that one.
I wasn't in the whole like Cap relaunch, and I might be alone here. I'm sure that, I being that I say it, other people will be like, I loved it. I wasn't as big of a fan of his... It wasn't triangle, but his shield that he had in the last run of Captain America leading up to Secret Empire. I mean, it had some cool features like the laser, and he could detach it and be
right.
I just am a stickler for the old classic round shield. I love it.
Yeah,
but I mean, the new one was sweet, but I just wasn't nearly as big a fan of that. And maybe it's just because I've become so accustomed to the round shield. A little change is good, but I mean, it had, like I said, it had some badass features. Hell, it killed Black Widow. Broke her neck, but
But yeah, Cap's shield is just a trademark,
Yeah, it's just what you associate with him. But anyways, I digress. I just saw the movie Monday. I was a little late to seeing it, so it's still fresh in my mind.
Better late than never.
Still crying myself to sleep every night.
But yeah, man, this lineup is so sweet. You got a Ghost Rider, which I'm not gonna lie, I haven't really versed myself on the new Ghost Rider. I haven't read that for a while, but he's got a hot rod. He's dealing with some stuff. Mm-hmm. We haven't seen him since. I haven't read anything of his since the Legacy one shot where his car just goes haywire and just takes him wherever it wants to take him.
I have a cool fact. On this channel also, we want to start doing some like kind of urban exploration / like. Check out some old houses and stuff, but there's a house on my great-grandparents' land.
Oh.
No one's lived in for a while, and I remember as a kid we went in and cleaned it out after the woman that lived there died, and no one's lived there since. And in that house, now granted it's not in great condition, it wasn't in terrible condition, but it hadn't been bagged or boarded. So, but there, I swear to you on everything, there was a first issue of Ghost Rider.
Get out of here.
And it was in, those magazine rolls that you roll up, not magazines. I'm so off this morning. I apologize for being so bad with words.
Like a poster tube?
Like a poster tube.
Yeah.
It wasn't rolled completely, but basically someone had bent it, not even bent it, but I mean, they had just kind of rolled it and stuck it in that tube with some other stuff, like some maps and other things. But yeah, it's somewhere in my family. I don't know where it is. Man. I got it. I read it. And then I left it at my grandma's, and I guess at that age I didn't really understand the value of comics, so I got it. And I remember my grandpa going, "Oh man, that's the very first Ghost Rider," and he looked at it and he's like, "I think that's the original one. I'm pretty sure."
That's cool,
I remember reading it, and now I just don't know where it is, but it's somewhere.
It didn't have the barcode on the corner. It was like
it's been so long. I was little, man. I mean, I wasn't even a teenager at that point, but. I know my dad might have it, but I know my grandpa was just like, "Oh man, this might be worth some money," and I didn't know the value of comics.
Man, it's cool seeing Ghost Rider and Doctor Strange on the team. I've seen Doctor Strange with the Avengers, but Ghost Rider, I don't think I've ever read him doing anything with him. It's cool to have that supernatural aspect, He had
his own team recently, right? The Spirits of Vengeance or whatever. Wasn't there a run? Yeah. It was like him and Blade, kind of all the darker.
Oh yeah, heroes. From the Doctor Strange Damnation. That was really good. But yeah, good lineup, man. You got She-Hulk, just chilling in. Well, not really chilling in Manhattan. Apparently, she's got some issues with her anger and hulking out when she's not necessarily trying to.
We learned don't catcall the She-Hulk in this issue.
Don't be trying to holler at the She-Hulk. I've actually one of the negative things I've read about this comic is people aren't really digging the art where she's all like. Beefed up and hulked out. Like people like a slimmer, sexier She-Hulk, apparently. So yeah, that's one thing I've read people aren't really digging. But I mean, Ed McGuinness's art, it's always been kind of like a little bit over the top,
Right.
And I think it kind of fits with what she's going through right now. She doesn't fully have control of her powers. So, maybe she's not able to, kind of stay in the form she wants to stay in. She's just, overdriven with the gamma,
Well, she's got to be strong. Range. I think at this point, I think in battle, which I know is not the case for all female superheroes, but I think in battle, strength and size would take precedent over sexiness.
Yeah, but people just want that sexy She-Hulk.
They do.
Yeah,
they do.
What are you gonna do? And speaking of sexiness, we got Captain Marvel on the team.
Man, it's really cool to see her on the team, especially being we're getting ramped up for the movie. She's one of those, I've never read her original title.
I haven't either.
But she's been in so many other titles that I've read, like Jessica Jones, and, of course, Civil War II revolved around her and Tony Stark, and she was a, pretty decent part of Secret Empire, and so I've read a lot of Captain Marvel and other people's stuff. I've just never really followed her own series. I've thought about it, but again, money's tight. I wish I had money just to get all of these titles, but she was always one that I always wanted, but I held off to try and save some money.
Yeah, it's not one I've really jumped on in the past either, but a really interesting character, and with her heading up Alpha Flight, up in that the space station, she's kind of at the forefront as these Celestials are, dropping into the atmosphere.
And she guides one down, which is cool. They're like, wow, you took one out. And she's like, no, this one was already dead. I just just guided it down. 2,000 feet long.
Yeah.
That's a huge bastard, man.
Apparently the Celestials aren't the real threat. It's whatever's, taking out the Celestials. I guess, the title of the issue or of this arc or whatever is The Final Host. So I'm
excited. A great start for the new volume of the Avengers. I really enjoyed it. You told me to get it, and I was like, well, if nothing else, I'll get the first issue of this volume, and if I don't like it, at least I've got that. But really enjoyed it, man. I didn't know if I'd be telling our comic lady to keep me on the pull list, but I told her, I said, sign me up.
I'm telling you, man, really good stuff. You got Cap, Thor, and Iron Man all getting in the Quinjet, heading up to see what's going on, and
you get that final Avengers assemble.
Yeah, sweet stuff. And Black Panther and Doctor Strange, they're finding all kinds of nastiness down under the earth. Something. Well, when you didn't read that Jason Aaron's run on Doctor Strange, am I right?
I didn't. No, I've read. I do remember getting 1 or 2 issues, but I think they tied in. It was some reason why I got them. It wasn't. I didn't follow the.
It was
run.
Probably a Secret Empire.
Some kind of tie-in. Yeah.
But basically, I hope I'm saying this right. The Empirical or Empiricrull or something like that is basically this science cult that they just go planet to planet, just obliterating magic.
I saw where he referenced that in this issue.
Yeah, they are totally against magic, and they just wipe out almost every drop on the planet. I'm talking about from Doctor Strange to Asgardian magic. If it's magic, man, they're not about it. They're not about it. So whatever magic was holding this, ancient threat at bay down at the center of the earth, those spells are gone. So,
whatever it was, it's out.
Yeah.
And it's killing Celestials.
So we got,
we think.
Yeah, it looks like something's hatching. We got claws popping out of pods.
I saw, what was it? I saw in the previews, in the preview magazine, I think it was Spider-Man. Yeah, it's the Amazing Spider-Man, the #1 or whatever number it will actually be when it comes out. But the kind of the relaunch of that with the new writer.
Right.
And in that, it showed a preview, a page, and it showed Captain America. It showed a lot of the heroes we know fighting, and it looked like they were fighting whatever was hatching. It just, for some reason, reminded me of this. So I'm wondering if that's going to tie in. It could be something completely different, but something I saw in that made me think of the Avengers, they were fighting whatever was hatching out of that.
Yeah, man. We've brought up a Secret Empire a few times. Nick Spencer, writer of that's jumping onto Amazing Spider-Man. I like the writing, the shake-up with the writers, man.
Yeah. Dan
Slott on Iron Man. You got Jason Aaron, on Avengers. It's just a lot of good stuff coming down the pike.
I know they switch them up. I know they stay switching them up sometimes. But do you think maybe Michael Bendis leaving is what kind of threw all of this into motion? They were like, okay, well, we got to have someone else to write Iron Man. We've got to. Do you think him leaving, set this in motion?
I think it was for the best, man, for sure. Dan Slott's been on Amazing Spider-Man for the better part of a decade. There's been a few other writers jumping in there for short little runs, but. I've liked it for the most part, but I think it's definitely getting a little stale.
It is. The last year or so has just been kind of hit or miss. You have some story arcs that I really, really like, and then some that I just am kind of just trying to finish it to be done with it and move on to the next comic.
Honestly, I think he should have Superior Spider-Man. I think that should have been a swan song. That's the last thing he wrote that I really just like sank my teeth into and loved every night.
Everybody loves Superior Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people I've talked to just love that run.
But I mean, he's a great writer, man. He just needs a clean slate. You know, the stuff he did with Silver Surfer, I mean, that was just, you know, out of this world.
He won an award for that, you said, right?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that won the Eisner, like last year before that.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how it goes. We'll see how he handles Iron Man. It's going to be interesting. One thing I'm excited for, not really related to the Avengers, but related to Iron Man.
Oh, yeah?
You know, as you know right now, the Punisher is wearing War Machine's armor, which I've really enjoyed that. I know it's kind of been back and forth. Some people don't. Some people. I really enjoy that, though, because it's just like seeing what it would be like if Tony Stark or Rhodey, who's, you know, not with us at the moment. I think they're hinting towards Tony Stark bringing him back. But
let's hope so.
It'd be like seeing what they finally would do if they just said screw it and started using their powers to just eliminate the threat.
Right.
But on the issue of an upcoming Punisher in the preview magazine, it shows Iron Man and the Punisher fighting. And it said that the Punisher's use of that armor has not sat well with a lot of the superhero world, especially Tony Stark.
I'm sure they see that as just like a slap in the face to Rhodey's legacy.
That cover, man, is so awesome. So when that does come out, I need to check, make sure that wasn't a variant. I think that was the actual cover. When that comes out, if that's not the main cover, I've got to get that variant of Iron Man and Punisher fighting. It's such a sweet cover. It's one that I want to put up on my wall. I have a little wall of comics. That one would look. Yeah. I'm so excited, though. I really hope it's not one of those sometimes the titles, or the covers can be very misleading.
They can be a little misleading.
I hope this one's not. I want to see Iron Man and the Punisher straight up go at it.
Yeah, that's one I need to not revisit because I haven't read any of it, but I might get that in trade. I am.
It's been a good run. It's been,
that's one I didn't have any extra room on the pull list, so
that's your Captain Marvel for me.
Yeah, but man, look how awesome that splash is.
Oh, yeah.
Just the Celestial just laid out in what is that, Manhattan Bay, I guess?
Let me see it.
That's the one that dropped into New York, I'm thinking. We got to start doing this for a comic podcast. I'll just have the comic and we can just
well, it makes it easier to reference,
Because, man, it gets me so much more giddy and excited just, looking at it as we're discussing. I mean, you got Celestials dropping all over the joint, Egypt, London, I guess, just all over the place.
What do you have any guesses as to what's killing them? Do you think it's a new foe or something maybe that, it's coming back? Do you have any predictions?
Well, they're calling it the final host, and we got 3 bad mofos standing there looking all, evil, and one's burning in green flame. We got one looking like Sauron off the Lord of the Rings or something, or, whatever his name was, and one looking kind of like Mr. Freeze-ish almost. I don't know what his deal is.
Yeah, no kidding. I didn't think about that before.
But it kind of makes me wonder if this has something to do with how the 1 million BC Avengers had to defeat the Celestials. I think maybe this is a threat coming from like Avengers past. You know what I'm saying? Who knows? I don't know.
It's exciting. Nothing makes me more excited, I believe, than like a new series to jump into, man.
Yeah. I mean, who's to say that, the final host isn't like Odin and, those BC Avengers, they had to transform themselves to beat the Celestials.
That would be cool.
Now they're just out of their minds, and who knows?
Just killing Celestials and planets alike.
Yeah. Who's to say? I think it's definitely going to be some twists. Like I say, great creative team. Ed McGuinness, great artist. I think the first thing I read of his was he did a run on Hulk with Jeff Loeb. The run itself was, it was hit and miss, but his art's always on point.
Yeah, I like the art, man. Well, great issue. I'm excited to see where this goes. We'll be podcasting about the issues as they come along. If this comic shop stays open, then we'll try to have these out for you on Wednesdays when we do our.
I don't want to convert to digital comics, but I may be left with no choice for some titles. I don't want to do it though, man.
I'm just going to have to go a town over and get my comics.
Yeah, I'm going to figure something out. But.
Well, I'm one of those, I'm not big on like Kindles and stuff too, man. I like to have the book.
Yeah.
It's to each their own. If you enjoy it, that's awesome. You can definitely carry more with you, and it's awesome, but I just like to have the hard copy in my hand.
Yeah, same here.
I was that way for the longest time with MP3s. Like when I had my iPod, I would put a few songs on it, but I'm like, man, I want the CD.
Right.
But now I've changed to the point. Well, I think it's too, though. It's like, CDs, I'm not saying they couldn't be worth money, but I mean, these comic collections to collectors and stuff could be very valuable. Or if nothing, it's kind of like your legacy you leave behind.
Yeah.
I don't know, and it just feels a little different with the comics. I don't think I could go to digital. Yeah. Not full time, anyways. Maybe for if I got a discount on some side stories, I just kind of wanted to. But yeah, so we'll be hopefully, like I said, we'll start. We did this kind of last minute because I picked that issue up later in the day. I had gotten my box, and then later in the day, JP convinced me to go back and get that. So next month we'll have that out on Wednesday when we do the Walking Dead podcast.
With the Marvel reboot, fresh start. You got any other titles you might want us to talk about? Just leave it in the comments.
Yeah, I might jump on the Thor.
Yeah, Thor. Oh man, I've been reading that from Jason Aaron just ever since he got on it, and before that too. But I mean, Jason Aaron, man, he is just knocking it out of the park with Thor.
Do you think that
Avengers is off to an awesome start as well?
Do you think he's on Bendis' level of writing?
Oh man, I like him way better than Bendis. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how Bendis handles the Superman coming up. We got Man of Steel getting ready to start.
Yeah, man, it's been a while since Bendis has done anything I've really, really been excited for. I mean, I read pretty much his full run on the Avengers from Disassembled all the way. He's the longest running writer to ever be on Avengers.
Right.
So, and I mean, it was some good stuff in there. I mean, Bendis has done a lot of good stuff. I liked his Ultimate Spider-Man, but it'd been a while since he'd really, wet my whistle for him.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I wasn't. I think he's a good writer. I hadn't thought in a while that he was a great. Jessica Jones. I enjoyed that run, like the last one he did. She looked kind of the art, which that's not really his deal. That's more the artist. But it was a little. I don't know. She looked kind of like a darker haired Amy Schumer or something. But the series itself was pretty good. Yeah. The Defenders was pretty good.
I like the Defenders. Yeah, I enjoyed
he's
that. Done
run,
a lot. I'm not trying to take anything away from Bendis.
Right.
I mean, his work on Daredevil is second to none. He's done a lot of great stuff. But just, I don't know, his work on Marvel, like I didn't read his X-Men stuff. As I said, just kind of...
Maybe jumping into new territory.
Yeah.
We'll ignite some new fire.
Oh, yeah.
I'm
stoked to see him on Superman.
Well, I would say we'll see you next week, but who knows? We might see you tomorrow. We might see you who knows? We always say we'll see you next week, and then something pops up, and we're like, let's podcast about that. So we'll see you on the next podcast.
Yeah.
I'm Justin.
And I'm JP.